Hello again. Okay, so it turns out I'm not very good at this recording thing. As I've said in previous videos, I'm just doing this without editing, without rehearsing, just rolling with it. And I just realised I just cut the last video off as I tried to show my view outside. And I'm not going to do it again now because I'm sure I'll probably cut it off again. But yes, as I was saying in the last video, the part one, I love Christmas. I love the end of year. I love the idea of having a review of how things have gone over the period. Now, I guess going into next year, and again, I'll talk about this more next week when I record my review of the year. I need to, again, I say it every year, and for different reasons, I don't necessarily push on. I need to be more focused and be more disciplined and need to embrace progress, but also celebrate actually that I have advanced. I look back at certain diaries and I see certain narratives that are consistently similar to what I'm talking about now. But I don't actually realise that I have actually evolved from my diary of 5 years ago that kind of says some similar things, but are actually slightly different. So really what I'm saying is I know that I can progress more, but at the same time I need to actually embrace and celebrate the fact that I have actually evolved. All of that sounds quite fluffy. So something I've been thinking about is this idea of the world is all about storytelling. Okay, everybody is telling a story. I've always had this thing about reading books like Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point, the Freakonomics books, all these different stories that give you, all these different books that give you a view on sorry, I just had to swipe something. All these books that give me a different view on how the world works. The thing about how the world works is these are just interpretations. Interpretations, they're not necessarily true, but they are interesting ways of looking at the world. And I think we all need to absorb all these stories, but also project our own way of how the world is. You know, I think the people that advance the furthest in life are storytellers, really. Elon Musk, he's smart. I don't think he's as smart as perhaps he thinks he is, or most people say he is, but he's been very, very good at creating stories around SpaceX, around Tesla, around his entrepreneurial spirit, etc., etc. And I think my goal, I'm just going to try to bring this back into, because I realise I'm all over the place. My goal this year, next year, should I say, is to embed some full-bodied stories that will be what I represent. I'm not going to be Elon Musk. I mean, that's just stupid to kind of even perhaps use him in the same breath. But it's the idea that, you know, there's a Simon Sinek who talk about find your why, okay? You know, what's your why to do things? And even that suggests that there is one why, you know, why I want to do X rather than Y. Why I want to do one thing, why I want to pursue a path driven by one specific idea or an ideal. Okay, I'm bringing it back. So I'm jumping around in thoughts now. I believe that you can have multiple whys that can vary on a week to month to year basis. But Simon Sinek's approach is a brilliant storytell which can help embrace a way of looking at life. It can generate conversation, etc., etc. So I have got to find my story. That's really what I'm saying. This is me jumping around because I collect different stories and think that they are the truth. Whether it's, the 4-hour work week type of principle by Tim Ferriss, or whether it's the Find Your Why. And it's almost like I want to adopt these principles, lock, stock and barrel in their entirety. When in reality is some of the ideas don't resonate with me because they are opinions, they're not actual truths. So I've got to find what's true for me in a way that I can take forward and shape my life. I just realised this video is so meandering compared to some of my others. The value is going to be heavily for me when I look back on this, maybe in 6 months' time, and kind of try to assess progress. But yeah, I do still believe we're all existing with our own stories. Some of us don't actually realise what story we're telling. So it's about becoming aware of the story that you're telling, whether that's the story that you want to live, and if that is the story that you want to live, how can you live that story better? Yes, that's what I'm really trying to say. Okay, that's, again, the one of the reasons why I do these videos is partly for me to practice in front of a camera, as I've said before, but also so that I can get my own views clarified to myself, so make things more clear for my own understanding. So I hope that my meandering, my jumping around with this conversation, my general bouncing ideas off the wall here has made some sense to you in a way that you can use it. So you can use it by practicing videos like this, by trying to work out what story you're living and what story you want to live, and how you can actually start to live that story. Whether it's just kind of you asking questions about yourself. I think that's the best thing, to start asking questions rather than just being a passive absorber. I mean, I spend a fair bit of time on YouTube, I'm not going to lie. I absorb stuff and then I'm on to the next video and on to the next video. How about pausing this, or once this video is over, stopping, then start asking yourself questions, what's my why? What's my why not? What do I really want out of life? Is the life I'm living the life that I actually am choosing, or is it being dictated to me by society, by family, etc., etc.? Start asking yourself some questions. This is the time of year where you can start to ask the questions and reset for next year. I have talked a lot today and I think it's time for me to pause. So, as I said, next week I will try to do a more structured review of my year, and hopefully it will be slightly less meandering than this one. So, okay, until next time, bye-bye.